So now we've got our EndNote. Like, how do we put stuff in here? Super easy, especially with all the nice new updates they've gotten all the databases. So again, remember I said I'm at biomedical, so I'm going to do that my example from PubMed. So I'm just at PubMed. Here's PubMed home screen. Whatever search I do, diabetes is my standard search. If anybody ever works with me and I do an example, I always search diabetes because I know I can spell that right every time. So let's say I'm doing a search on diabetes and I need to pull these citations in because I'm going to write a paper about them later. A couple different things you can do. You can individually choose your citations that you want. Or if you need to, you can also, I could send all 500,000 of these to my EndNote if I need to. You're probably going to never need to send that many unless you're doing like a big systematic review. And if you're still getting that too many results for your systematic review, please contact your librarian and let us help you get your search a little bit narrowed down because that's a lot. That's going to take you years to go through. So, but once you've clicked some, or if you want to send all of them, very easy, send to button. And it just says nice and easy citation manager. Google Scholar allows you to send stuff to a citation manager. Embase, Web of Science, they're all going to allow you to send. It might say different things though. It's going to say send to, or it's going to say save, or it's going to say export. Any of those options, usually if you click it, then it's going to give you a button either just says citation manager. Sometimes it might just say, oh, click this button, it'll send it directly to your EndNote online, which makes it really easy. But on this one, I'm just going to create my file. It is asking me, do you want to send the ones that you checked? Do you want to resend all the results on this page? Default for PubMed is first 10, so it's going to send me 10. Or again, I can send all results, 500,000. We're not going to send that many though. So we're going to create my file, super easy. Depending on your computer type, is depending on where it's going to, save it to. There's this nice little NBIB file format. And then I can go back to my EndNote. And then I've just got to like import it in. So EndNote, you'll do collect and then import. And then from here, you can either drag and drop. Or if your computer doesn't save it where you can drag and drop, just go to, you'll just search and go wherever it saves it on your computer. Usually download section, but some people do have that set up to save different places. So just put it in there. Now this is the key thing with EndNote that you have to be aware of. You have to be able to tell it where it's coming from. So this one I know came from PubMed. So I'll just go and click my PubMed button. If you've never set up this favorites drop-down list, when you click this on yours, it is going to be a very long scrollable list. It's going to look exactly like this. So these are all the different options you have. In the email I send you, I'm going to send you a list of about 7 or so that I recommend throwing in your favorites. So it's going to be stuff like PubMed, Web of Science. I think Embase is one. And if you use a database a lot and you're not sure, like you don't see the database name in here, again, send me an email. We'll figure out which one is the best one to use. The default for most databases, though, something that everything usually can save it as, and that EndNote can read every time, is going to be that RIS, or it's RefMan RIS. That's like the original format. So pretty much all databases can save it as that format, and then EndNote can always read it. So if you don't see what you're looking for, just choose the RIS, and that should work. But again, we know this one's PubMed. And then it's going to ask, well, where do you want to put it? So if you already have a folder created, great, go ahead and choose that one. If you don't have a folder created, you can go ahead and create a new one right away. Unfiled is like the catch-all, and everything will eventually go through that unfiled until you move it somewhere else. I've seen some people who never use any groups or folders and everything just lives in your unfiled. I don't recommend doing that. When I see people who have that, I tell them not to do it because you can't create a bibliography from stuff in unfiled. Cite while you write can be difficult with stuff in unfiled. You really need stuff in groups to get all the functionality out of everything. So create a group. And we're going to put this one, though, in this test group because I'll know to go back and eventually clear these out of my EndNote. I'm going to import those. Depending on how many, depends on how long it's going to take. But as soon as it puts them in there, it does a really great job of telling you, okay, 4 references were inputted in there. This is a good way to make sure there was no error in any of the references. Because if it would have said 3, I would have known that, oh, I chose 4 though. So what happened to that 1? So you can go back and check and figure out what went wrong or either resend it. But it does hyperlink it too. So I'll go ahead and click that. And then it's going to bring me to my 4 that I just brought in. So now again, this is in my test folder. And I already had some in here, so you're going to see more than 4. But here's those diabetes ones right here. Also, nice thing with EndNote, it does go ahead and give me my Find It at VEU button. Again, we created our accounts with our Vanderbilt email. And this helps you find the PDF, which we can then attach into our EndNote. And once you attach it to like the actual citation, you can delete it off your computer, so you don't have to have like backup copies taking up all your space on your laptop or your desktop, because now it lives online and it'll be always attached. Yeah, find it at VU, pull the PDF in, and then just attach it with the paperclip, and then it lives there. Sadly though, I don't really. Some of the other citation managers, there's a really good format, like you can read your read your article while EndNote. I mean, you can do that, but you have to like move the screen around to get it big enough where you can read. I don't use it a lot that way because I just find it hard to read it that way. But you can read it within EndNote if that's something you want to do. It is available. All right. So now this is so I've got some citations in here. Now this is the real reason most people use a citation manager, is to actually help you write your papers. So I've got this fake paper that I downloaded. So I've got this fake paper that I need to cite some of these articles that I'm using. You can already see I've got some of them already in here cited. And actually right now I've got the style set for MLA 8th. I'm going to change that because that MLA is actually not one of the citation styles I'm super familiar with. I do a lot of APA because library research, we use APA, and then the nursing uses APA, and I work a lot with nursing. So APA is the one I know. So we're going to switch to APA. But as you notice, there's all kinds of different citation styles that you can do. And if you publish a lot with a specific journal, there's a really good chance that EndNote has like that actual journal's specific citation style, and you could use that because you could just type in that journal title and it'll pull it up and it'll follow exactly all the rules that they require. But let's say maybe you publish in this one journal, or they, heaven forbid, they reject your article, so you have to submit to another journal. But of course, they change the citation style. And your paper's already finished in, let's say, APA, but now you're submitting to another one, and they use JAMA. Really easy. You can click and change it, just one click, and it'll change your whole paper now to JAMA. That's super, super useful because you don't have to go back and like change every single one again.
Rachel?
Yes.
Quick question. You might have said this and I missed it, but you are now using a Microsoft Word plugin.
Yes, I probably didn't say that.
It comes with the desktop version of EndNote.
No, this plugin you can use.
Okay.
Desktop version, online version.
Gotcha. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so you just go to downloads and then you just download the correct plugin. The one thing I would like to keep, you need to make sure you have the updated Word. So that's really important.
Right.
And it actually has, you have to have Word. You can't use like the Mac word processor or any other like Google or like Google Forms or Google Word. It has to be it has to be Word. So Microsoft Word.
Okay.
So that is the only thing. And of course you can, if anybody doesn't have Microsoft Word, I usually come across with the students more than anything, you can buy a discount version through the software store. So, but when as soon as you download that plugin, the next time you open up your Word, you'll see there'll be a nice.
It'll basically ask you to log into EndNote, and then it can read your library from there. Okay.
And depending on which version you have, like if you have an older version of EndNote, yours might say EndNote 9 or 18 or whatever, or it might say EndNote Online or EndNote Basic, depending on, again, where you're coming from. But from here,
I'm just curious because I know a couple of folks on the call. Do people write their papers in Word, or are there other tools to use?
I'm seeing shaking heads.
So I use LaTeX for the vast majority of what I write personally, but when I'm collaborating with medical folks, they don't do that. So I have to write in Word, hence the EndNote, trying to understand how this works.
Gotcha. Ipek, how do you manage citations in LaTeX?
I'm a Mac person, so I have something called Papers, which
Okay.
exports to BibTeX and also to EndNote, I think, but I never figured out how to make it work
Gotcha.
for EndNote purposes.
So you're covered.
We can
Yeah.
look at that later, and I haven't used it through that, but
Okay,
can
I
look
would
into
appreciate
it.
that actually. Yeah,
yeah,
thank you.
not a problem. So yeah, if your Word and EndNote are not working well together, I always do recommend probably uninstalling a couple things and reinstalling, because that usually will fix most problems. And though if we can't figure it out, since we have that subscription Web of Science, which means we have really good access to the support folk at EndNote, and they are great. Every time I can't figure out something, we just put in a ticket, and they usually get back to us that day, and they can help us fix things. They're wonderful. Highly recommend them. So from here, though, let's say I'm gonna cite. Actually, let's cite one that I don't already have one in here. Okay, let's cite this sentence here at the end. So we're deploying right back hashes. We answer this riddle without analyzing hash tables. So I need to cite this. Super easy. I'll just use my insert citation button at the top. Again, first time you do this, or probably first couple times you're going to do this, it's going to ask you to sign in again with your account you created. Eventually it'll learn it. But from here, it just pulls up all the citations that are in your EndNote, and you can search, or you can scroll. And you need to know if you're going to search, you either need to search by last name or something like a novel word that's in the title. So you wouldn't want to, like this one, I wouldn't search for diabetes because that would pull up all my diabetes articles. I'd search for something that's a little more novel. Last name is great though. So we just click the one we need. Insert. All right, so it put it in there. It's not going to get the full correct formatting for like talking about spacing or tabs, stuff like that. So you will need to go in here and probably, add a space there, because it's going to put it exactly wherever your cursor is. So if you space it correctly before you insert it, it'll put it right there. So you might have to do a bit of that. But as you can see within this one, so this one's APA 6. I need to update to the 7th. But so I've got my author names and then my date, all correct. But now, like, where's my full, my reference list? If you scroll down to the end of wherever your text is, it starts your reference list. So it just starts it right down here. So you will, again, need to, of course, tab this out into its very own page, put references at the top. Just follow the standard formatting for whatever citation style you're using. So like APA, I would just do references. Everything would have to double space everything. But like the reference is correct. As long as it pulled in correctly, this is correct. You can see this one, it's got my DOIs in there if they have them. It's doing first initial, last name, like all of this is correct. It's also already put in alphabetical order because that's how APA does theirs, already in alphabetical order. But a kid, if you're doing, you know, Chicago, it would change it. It's not the one I wanted. So JAMA does the numbers. So it changed it to the numbers. Again, spacing might be a little bit weird. You will have to fix that. But the references are right. And that's what takes the longest, is actually getting those type references in there. So now they're good to go. And if you need to edit anything in here, like let's say you go back to reread that paragraph and you change it, you completely remove it. If you delete it, it removes it from the reference list at the bottom. So it keeps track of all that for you. All right.